Healthy families make healthy societies. I'm Randy.
And I'm Lesli. We're diving deep into the powerful insights of Dr. Randy's groundbreaking book, The Family Legacy: Shaping Culture from the Inside Out.
Hear inspiring stories and strategies to transform your family. We'll explore topics like communication, forgiveness, healing, parenting, marriage. We'll cover it all.
We'll have provoking conversations with experts, coaches, and real-life families who are benefiting from intentional family building.
This podcast isn't just about theories. It's about tools that you can implement today.
We all come from families, so this podcast is for you.
Join us on this incredible family journey. Subscribe now as we learn to do family as God designed.
Transforming families one episode at a time. Remember, whoever wins the family wins the culture in the end. Let's go. Hello, everyone.
Welcome back.
Yes, here we are at Transforming Families with Randy and Lesli. I am Lesli.
And I am Randy, and we are continuing.
Yes, our family equipping segment. This is on the venture.
Yeah, so we've been in a couple of podcasts here around the venture protocol, which again is one of our 6 habits or rituals or what we call protocols, practices that a family can engage in that will help shape culture in their family and really transfer the character and nature of God. That's really the basis of all of our work, restoring families to God's design. And so we talked about the elements that are included in this venture. See, God designed it that our bodies, our minds, our learning center, our discovery center would wake up and we would be able to have vivid memories and deep implants around fun and travel and learning and being in new places
being with your family.
Being with your family.
Yeah.
And so he did that through feasts and festivals and different practices, and they were annual. Like he planned them into how he does family. You say, well, what do you mean? Well, God picked the people, right? Abraham and his people, the nation of Israel, and he parented them. He has kept them, and they're his chosen people, his light in the world that he demonstrates himself through. Of course, we get grafted in as believers now through Jesus, but this is part of God's plan. And so one of the things that we have found is so good for an opportunity to make these deep emotional implants in our children is to take a vacation on a regular basis, but in that, as a part of it, maybe 10, 15%, to really craft a specific and intentional learning experience that reveals something about the character and nature of God, his love, his courage, his, some aspect or dimension. And so we're going to dive in further on how to make that learning module happen.
Right. And so when we think about why we take family vacations, it's for connection and it's fun and it's to disconnect from the norm. And all of that stuff is really true. And the reason we put this venture module together, because when you're on vacation, your mind is really open, like Randy said, to the work, the mundane monotony of the day. For kids, it's a release from school and chores. And it's a time where your mind is very open to receive. And so this is why we've implemented this module, this venture into the family vacation because that's when that really deep emotional implant happens. And it doesn't have to be the whole thing, because that in and of itself is like, oh, we're going on a learning adventure. That puts everybody in this mode of where they're already at.
I want to relax. I want time off.
I want time off. I want to play. So we're gonna walk you through how to actually create.
Yeah, the family venture. And we've got, I don't know, 10 tools or something in this one protocol to help you from A to Z, explain it in the book, it's step by step in the workbook. And but we're just going to give you some highlights to just frame this out, because I think you'll be very interested to plan one, which we will do here in a couple of episodes.
Yeah, and we want to remind you guys, you can go to the family reformationproject.com, and right in there, you can click and download our free tools. It's just a free PDF. All the stuff that we're sharing about, just go to the website and you can get your very own copy of that.
Yeah, so there's a way to get it. So let's jump into the experience. So we're on this venture. Let's say we're headed to we talk about the Kennedy Space Center. That's one we did. And we're thinking through here, how do we actually take that idea and put it into practice?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to read this right out of the workbook. By design, the Family Legacy Venture is an experiential module in its own right.
Mm-hmm.
However, we agree with the research that suggests including at least one focused learning experience during the course of the venture produces long-lasting benefits, especially when we connect the experience to family identity and legacy.
Yeah.
So the first question we ask is, what do you want to teach your family?
Yeah.
Is it how to dream? Is it how to hear God? Maybe if you've got older kids, how to be successful in marriage or parenting or on the job. If there's been traumas in the family, and gosh, haven't we all experienced some hard times in our family? Maybe the learning is how to heal, or how to bring healing to the rest of the family, how to be good stewards of your health, your finances, your talents.
Yeah.
Maybe it's more on character qualities of God, like teaching them how to be grateful and generous and loving. What about teaching them how to make good decisions?
Oh my goodness.
At the end, the list is endless.
It really is. And so you start with obviously prayer and asking the Lord, hey, Lord, where's our family? Like, who's going? And what are their ages? And what are the circumstances around their lives? What are they facing? And Lord, show us what it is that you want us to learn or teach or instill into our kids in this really opportune moment where they will remember and it will stick. And so you ask God that question and talk about it together, and then you make a decision. And then it begins this process. And there's really 4 steps of the experiential module creation process. And we get in a lot more detail in the tools and in the book, but this will give you an idea. And you say, why do I go to all this trouble? Well, it really isn't all that much trouble. You know how when you haven't done something before and it's brand new, it seems overwhelming. Like it seems so much more difficult than when you actually do it once. You're like, oh, that was really not so hard. That's the way this is. And so don't throw it out because we're going to give you, a number of things to think about. Just process through it, try it, and you'll have it, and it'll be very simple. Here's the first piece. Once you've gone to the Lord and asked, what is it that we want to teach? Then the next thing is, okay, how do I set this up? It's called the setup. In any experience learning, it's the setup. And the setup, what's the setup? Talk about what the setup is a little bit.
Yeah, the setup is you're just going to talk to the family about the purpose, the value, the opportunities of what you're going to be doing. And you're going to give them really detailed instructions on how to do that, step-by-step stuff. That's fun. And remember that you're doing this together in a family.
So it really starts with, as you're planning the trip and you're getting buy-in from everybody, hey, we're going down to Florida and we're going to do this. You begin to say, hey, listen, get ready because we're going to do this one thing. Part of our time, we're going to go see the Kennedy Space Center. We're going to talk about dreaming. We're going to learn everything we can about dreaming. So this is going to be fun, and just kind of get in the thinking, kids, no matter how old they are. What are your dreams in life? And what are some of the challenges? And you just let them know what's coming. And then when you get there and it's that day and you drive, to Cape Canaveral and you're walking in, then you tell them the setup is like, okay, how to go about that day.
Sure.
So we're going to just have fun. Well, that's really hard. You tell me just have fun. No, yeah, have fun. But read the placards, watch the videos, and think of all that you can learn when you hear them talk about what it took to put a man on the moon, the dreams, and just prepare them to put them in a learning posture. And then you go have fun. And you check in with them through the day and, oh, wow, did you read this? And you read that? And then you say, listen, tonight when we're home, we'll have a good meal and we'll just talk about what we learned. So just let's enjoy this. Yeah. That's the setup. You've let them know ahead of time before you went. And at the beginning, you've said, here's how to show up during this time.
Yeah. And if you're going to do something, we're just using the Space Center as an example. And again, it depends on the age. You can do this in a theme park. There's endless possibilities.
A hike in the mountains.
Yeah. We give some examples and stuff in the workbook on give ideas around that. But if you're dealing with older kids, like we did a university,
Yeah.
we named our venture, and it
Family
was
University.
Family University, and all our kids were grown at the time. And so we gave them a book to read, months in advance. So our setup began way ahead of the vacation time. So they had time to read and just really formulate their own questions around it. So again, this is getting them excited about the vacation. I know for a lot of people, I think I mentioned this in the last podcast, some people, they have more fun just thinking and looking forward to the vacation, as much fun as they have on the vacation. So you're just setting the tone, and as those months progress too, you think about, hey kids, we're just a few weeks away from from Hawaii or Disneyland or whatever it is,
the zoo. I mean,
whatever, the hike, the camping trip, and it creates those good endorphins that keep people pressing in, even for us big kids, when we're working on a big project at work, and it's like, 3 more weeks, I get to unplug from this.
It's interesting. You reminded me, I write in the book about this. There, scientifically, measurably, there is a health benefit. I think it's up to 8 weeks before, in the anticipation, the very thing you're talking about, this building of, excitement and joy and anticipation. And you say, well, how do I know what to pick? Well, you pray and you think. One of the things, I think there are several things, actually, like the character and nature of God, that no matter what age you are, there's a lesson that needs to be learned there. And how you bring it is more into question with age.
Sure. And just, go to the fruit of the Spirit.
Trust, right? even trust.
Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, any of those things are applicable to absolutely every age.
Why do we do that? Well, this is the foundation of all of our work here at the Family Reformation Project. How do we restore families to God's design? Well, we got to know what his design is.
Right.
And it's to reproduce himself in us, and for us to be fruitful and multiply that through our generations. And so we set up these processes for that to happen, so that we are taking our kids through experiences that translate into them having the character and nature of God in them. And now they know how to pass it on to their kids.
And I want you guys to remember, all of this translates back to the garden.
Yeah.
God created us, we believe, to be eternal beings in the first place before the fall. But like Randy said, his mandate to us, after he said we were very, very good, was to be fruitful, multiply, govern the earth. And so as he was parenting Israel, and where we have all of these protocols came out of really that design, married in with Jesus coming and everything that he's given us access to this side of the cross, that it's really not complicated. That's what it is. It's be fruitful, multiply, and govern the earth. And that's frankly our responsibility as parents, to steward these young souls, these people that are going to grow up, and they are going to have the character and nature of God, that beingness, the breath of God, the life of God, the Spirit of God that's in us, and on their watch, then they multiply that on the earth.
It's critical.
So just don't ever forget that. That's, if you're like, oh my gosh, this is so confusing. It's not.
It might seem like it, but let's cover another point before we go to our break here. And that is, so you've got the setup, right? You've asked the Lord, you've chosen a specific lesson or character quality of God you want to teach. You've let them know what's happening. Now you're there, you're going through it. So there's the setup. The second part is just that. It's what we call the execution. It's actually doing the activity, whatever that is. It's going to Mexico and building that home. It's like on the ground, boots on the ground. What does that look like every day you do it, or every time you do it? Same thing. If it's a family university, is it a trip to Cape Canaveral? What is it? And so then you're actually just executing. And you say, well, why do you even put that in there? Of course you're going to. Well, because you'd be surprised at the distractions and the diversions that come up when you set your heart intentionally to do something that is going to build the kingdom of God inside of your family. There is resistance. There is a real enemy that fights to keep that from happening.
Yeah.
And so we don't want to forget it. You can do all the planning, but then if you don't, come across the finish line with it, you're like, I'm just tired. I just want to stand by the pool today. And we get that. And that's why it's just a segment of the vacation. Make sure that you execute and have the experience. And you might need to plan ahead for that. Maybe it's a service project. That's another one of our examples. You can learn a ton by serving together. And so what exactly do you need to serve together? You need the rakes or the preparation for the teaching
or you need to know if you're going into a community, what it is. Are you serving meals? What are you doing?
Are you helping another organization that's got boots on the ground and all set up, or what is it? And what are the questions you're going to ask? And so that's the execution. So you pray, you decide, you set it up, and then you actually experience it. And we're going to go to break now, but when we come back, we're going to talk about how to draw the gold out of that experience, because it's not just enough to do it. You miss too much. So we're going to learn how do we mine the gold out of this wonderful experience right when we come back. Introducing the Family Digital Bundle, a powerful collection designed to transform your family's journey towards healing, growth, and thriving.
At the heart of this bundle is the best-selling book and workbook, The Family Legacy, Shaping Culture from the Inside Out, written by Dr. Randall Bixby.
With insightful wisdom and practical advice, these resources offer a roadmap for building a strong family legacy that shapes the culture of generations to come.
But that's not all. Our Family Digital Bundle includes an e-course, over 9 hours of how-to videos, equipping you with practical tools and expert guidance to help your family.
Imagine your family, a place where love, growth, and connection come together. Isn't it time to build a better family? If not now, when?
Invest in your family. Order the Family Digital Bundle today by clicking the link below or visit our website, thefamilyreformationproject.com. Welcome back.
Here we are. We're continuing on in Transforming Families with Randy and Lesli. We're in the Venture Protocol, which is one of God's design ways to transfer his character and nature. And it happens to come in a very fun, learning kind of environment on a family vacation. You take a little segment. We talked through the first 2 of 4 components to how to make a learning experience module effective. So you decide what you're going to do prayerfully. You set it up. You let everybody know what's going on. You execute it. You actually do it. And then here it comes. We've had this long day. Let's just take the example we use at Kennedy Space Center. And, we're driving home. We're still having fun. And then we're all hungry, of course. So, we throw the steaks on the Barbie and cook some good food, and we're eating, and also we start a conversation. And the learning, or what we call the debrief from the exercise, is the third component. And talk about what that is. Just a little bit.
That's you're just asking everybody to share. Hey, what was your experience today? Say it was at the Space Center. About yourself, about your thinking about yourself, about God, about others, and about the world, about your faith. How, as you filter that through, what did you learn? What was the aha?
Yeah, and you say you don't have to ask 10 questions. Those are just all possibilities, right? And so it really comes down to, hey, so what was a learning today? That simple question. And we've already prepped them that, hey, we want to learn what we can around dreaming, right?
What'd you learn about dreaming?
What'd you learn? And, when we did this, oh my goodness, it was a long, I think it was a 2.5 hour meal or something, like where we just talked and everybody listened. Everybody had a voice. Everybody got heard.
You're going to throw in your empathetic listening tool. If you haven't been exposed to that, go back through the podcast and listen to the empathetic listening tool. It will so enhance the experience you have with your family.
Yeah, so good. And then as a leader or a parent in this case, you're listening real carefully. What are the lessons? Are they seeing the important things? But you want to just get them out. What did you learn? Well, I learned, man, it takes great sacrifice. You have to persevere. They failed so many times. It was costly. They spent so much money. It took so long to do this, to
realize that dream.
It took so many people on the team. So, it's replete with lessons. And you'd be interested to know that a hike has the same amount of learning as something like that, depending on how I mean, God never ceases to pour forth speech. So nature reveals who he is.
Oh my gosh, every berry, every critter,
Yeah.
every rock. I mean, there's so much. And I'll tell you what, especially around, well, on any of it, whether it's a dream vacation or walking through the forest, your kids, no matter what age they are, Randy talked about the gold. They have thoughts about this stuff. And it's not only is it just a delightful experience to hear your kids' hearts, but it also gives you so much information as to where they are in their relationship with God.
So good.
And it gives you that information, so you know as a parent, it's a navigation tool. How do I need to be praying for my son, my daughter? What, I see a lack here, or I see a gift here. How do I develop that? This is when we say gold, we mean gold.
Yeah. So right on. And so you take that learning that's coming out, and then here's where we bring in the coach approach. As we then turn it toward the fourth part of the model for an experience module, which is application. So we say, wow, that was amazing. Everybody here said something about persevering in dreams. That's so, where in your life, what are your dreams? First of all, so now we've been talking about other people's dreams and what it takes to make dreams happen, but now it's personal.
Yeah.
And maybe you even start as a parent and you share real vulnerably, one of my dreams is to have our family healed and restored in our relationships, because it's been a rough go for a lot of families. They've had a lot of challenges, divorce and sickness, and I mean, any number of challenges that are traumatic in life. And, one of my dreams is that we would come together regularly, or one of my dreams is that you kids are really set up to know how to make good decisions. So you begin to share the dream that's in your heart, and then everybody shares that. So now we're moving toward taking this learning into applying it to our lives. Yeah. And so what's next after we've said, hey, what are your dreams? Then what's the next question?
Well, it could be a lot of things. What would stop you from achieving that dream? What do you see as the obstacles? That's one of the questions.
One of the great coaching. Here's the coach approach again. What are the obstacles to that? Well, I don't like to wait. I don't like to persevere. It's hard. It's challenging. I'm really hurt by that. I don't know how to forgive, or you can get to that level. And so then, another question after that might be what? What are the challenges?
Sure. What are the challenges? What are the opportunities?
What are the solutions?
Yeah. What are solutions? And here's a good one. How will you feel? Like, take a minute and close your eyes and just imagine that dream is fulfilled. How's that going to feel?
Yeah. And then we again, it's applying it. It has to be practical. So then it moves to, so what character, quality, or strength do you need from God?
Yeah.
To have that solution, to overcome the fear, to forgive, whatever. And then you let that child respond, take personal responsibility. This is the brilliance of the coach approach. Yeah. How are you going to react during this, in response to this, son, daughter? And then it's like, well, yeah, I need strength. I need
perseverance.
Love. I need help. Okay.
Where does that come from?
Where's it come from? Well, it comes from God. Okay.
How do you get it?
And here's the thing. Finally, in this application, what is your commitment, in the next, 30 days to take action around this personally? What are you going to do now with what you learn, with what you know, with your dream, with these challenges and these solutions? Now, how will you
next step
choose to respond in the next 30 days? And then let them answer that question. Well, I'm going to XYZ. Right. I'm going to pray, and I'm going to contact this person, and I'm going to ask their forgiveness.
Yeah, maybe you've got a kid that's like actually gifted or just has a passion around a sport. We have a granddaughter who's a swimmer, and one of her goals is to be an Olympic level swimmer. That's a dream of hers. And so, okay, how are you gonna move forward on that? Well, I'm gonna show up to practice every day, and I'm gonna make sure I'm eating healthy, and whatever it is. And then the next question, and this is really where the bonding of the family comes together. How can we as a family
Mhm.
support you in this next step, over this next sometime? Maybe it's a week, maybe it's a month, whatever it is.
Yeah.
How do we support you in that? Because one of the goals that we're looking to achieve in the restoration of the family is that family is a safe place where you are seen,
Yeah.
where you're heard,
Yes.
where you're championed, right? Where you're loved, where you know that in your house you are what's the word I'm looking for?
Well, you're an integral part of it. You're what make up the family.
Yeah, you're part of something, and everyone there is for you. It is your place that's safe to grow
Mhm.
and be who you are in an environment where you're loved, where you're not judged, where people are for you and they're helping you. It
Mhm.
gives them not only the construct of how to do family themselves as they grow
Mhm.
and start their own families, but it gives them the foundation of the fabric of the greater family of the
Mhm.
kingdom of God. Because and this is culture, we're always saying that culture flows downstream from family.
Yeah.
And it is in this family construct where we learn how to do that in this intimate setting with those we love. And you're teaching your kids then as they go out into the world,
Mhm.
this is how God's design is for his family, that we work together, that we're kind and we're patient with each other. And this spreads out into nation building. I mean,
Yes.
guys, we want you to connect the dots here. This is for your family, but it's not just for your family.
Mhm. Yeah, this is the whole design from God, is
Yeah.
that out of the family that nations are made in the image of God. Jesus, in Psalm 2, the psalmist is writing, "Hey, ask of me, it's the Father, and I'll give you the nations as your inheritance." And that's a real thing. We believe that Jesus is looking for and anticipating, and his reward and the bride of Christ is also, cultures and cities and people that are reflecting him in every way, that there's justice and there's more than enough for everybody, and there's love, and there's, who he is reflected in our organizations, in our spheres of culture, in the cultures and the nations themselves. And the leaders in those spheres are the ones determining and making decisions. And this is why the family work is so vitally important
Yeah.
for the restoration of all of that. So here you go. Now just think about this. Let's say once a year you take a vacation, and let's say you start when the kids are 5, or 3, where they're, finally they can remember those things, whatever. And let's say, by age 18, you've got 15 opportunities. If I was to say, hey, listen, as a parent, you have 15 golden tickets and you can spend them one at a time. And when you spend this one, you will instill something in the lives of your children that will dramatically and deeply and permanently equip them to be successful in life, or to demonstrate God and his character in some way. And you'll teach them how to train their kids to do the same. You got 15 of these. Now, there's more than that if we all live long lives and we have good families, and there's a lot of assumptions. Let's just say there's a limited number. If I said I guarantee you that that'll happen, you'd be foolish not to maximize the value of every single opportunity.
Yeah. For those of you whose kids are already grown, when I say, my goodness, where did the time go? It was just a blip. And
Yeah.
it seems in the throes when they're little and you're in the trenches of raising kids,
Indeed.
but they're gone. Gosh, guys, they're gone in an instant.
Mhm.
And God's so gracious. And so if you are on that side and your kids are already grown, remember, we did this with our kids when they were grown, and we serve a redemptive God, a kind God. But don't miss out on the opportunity while you have kids at home. Listen, before we wrap up today, we wanted to remind you guys, we are going to be doing a Q&A type podcast here in the future. And so please reach out to us. If there's a topic a hot
Yeah.
topic that you want to talk about, the email to reach us is down in the description. You can go to familyreformationproject.com and reach out to us and let us know what you'd like to talk about.
Yeah, it's frp.contactus@gmail.com. That's frp.contactus@gmail.com
Mhm.
is the place to send those questions. And we'd love to hear from you. Listen, remember this: whoever wins the culture.
Whoever wins the family.
Well, yes, thank you.
Whoever
Let's
wins
say it the
the
way.
family.
Well, and likewise, right? It's the chicken and the egg. In some ways, whoever wins the culture wins the family because those are the inputs that are going in. But to get it right by design, that's it. Whoever wins the family wins the culture
in the end.
See you next time. That wraps up another inspiring episode of Transforming Families with Randy and Lesli. We hope that today's conversation has left you feeling empowered and equipped to take action.
Remember, transforming families begins with transforming ourselves. Let's be intentional, loving, and persevere. You're not alone. We're right here with you.
We believe Proverbs 24:3. Wise people are builders. They build families, businesses, and communities. Through intelligence and insight, their enterprises are established and endure.
Thanks for joining us today. We encourage you to stay connected with us on social media, join our email list, and learn more about our resources and classes at the Family School by visiting thefamilyreformationproject.com.
Remember to subscribe, share with your loved ones, and spread the word about transforming families. We'll see you on our next episode. And remember, whoever wins the family wins the culture in the end.